Hello everyone, this is Jasmine aka Gladiatorinsweats, and I'm here with a collective message for today and really working for throughout the rest of this week. And yeah, so I'm Jasmine aka Gladiatorinsweats. If you're new or returning to my channel, thank you for tuning in and for being here with me. So if you've been around here a while, you know that I usually just pull some messages just for what is it that the collective really needs to know at this time. So I did ask for, one card just for, the general energy. What is the general feel of what it is that we are focusing on, or what is it that we're working through at this time, especially because we're really ushering in this lunar eclipse that we're coming into over the next couple of days. So just getting straight into the card that I did pull for us. The card that I did pull, I have a new deck, so you won't recognize this card, but it is the Five of Cups, and in this deck, it's a little different. It's not very much like verbatim or very much super along the lines of the traditional tarot system. They have it a little bit changed up. So for this Five of Cups, where we would normally see it as, the spilling of the cups in the card, where it's like a mourning of an emotional loss, this card is about natural intimacy. Let's see if you can get that all in there. It's a beautiful card. I really love these cards. But so yeah, intimacy. So what is this really talking about? This is talking about kind of what I've been talking about the past week or so, but this is kind of putting it more in, in the frames of sexuality. And even then, when we reference sexuality, this doesn't have to be about the very like sexual intercourse. This is about the the friction and the integration and the harmony that takes place within this realm and environment between a masculine energy and a feminine energy, or a positive and a negative charge, if you want to look at it that way. But really with this card, especially with the passage that comes with it, it mostly focuses and discusses the use of seduction, but not just seduction, but just overall the general topic of manipulation for, some sort of gain, for some sort of means. And so, in wanting to talk more about that and what, I'm feeling this as, and even bottom of the deck to further give you some confirmation for what this is about, even bottom of the deck, we have Three of Wands, which is authentic nourishment. So these two cards together for me are, obviously with the picture here, it's definitely talking about this solar plexus here. But as I've been talking about recently, about us finding the ways in which we can receive our power back, or, the ways in which we maybe have been giving our power out, or recognizing even the ways in which maybe we've been taking power away from other people. This is what I've been talking about, over this past month. And so these cards here are definitely about this being this focus, about this, not just a focus, but this underlying theme and current taking place for us now, about the use and abuse of power, especially through the means of sex, money, these sorts of things, food, drugs, all these things that we do to try and, find some way to nourish ourselves, because yogis, those that are, work with the metaphysics of this world and this realm, we understand that everything is food. Everything is something that we're intaking and we're processing and putting out or not. But that's really what all of this is. Everything is a food, whether you're watching it, you're eating it, you're listening to it, you're hearing it, you're talking about it. All of these different ways in which we bring in some sort of energy, bring in some sort of frequency or dynamic into our being. So I keep showing these cards because they're so gorgeous, but I'll try not to do that again. I really just want to focus again on this idea of this character here. If you can see, this is actually Pan, the the earthly entity. I can't tell you exactly from what mythology at this time, but it's really supposed to be, the stag, the representation of like the male sexuality and sensuality, and virility. And so the passage, discussed, and really we can talk about it in general of how like our religions, or in the ways in which we've perceived certain energies as negative, and so we've kind of perverted and bastardized them in that sort of way. So the reason I bring up Pan here is because in very many ways we have really bastardized and diluted and really framed it into the idea of the shadow side of this, of we look at that as the devil. Pan is now really, especially within Christianity, referenced as the devil, as this idea of using sex and your inner desires, not even desires, but like your cravings, your addictions, the things you're attached to get you to come in and to play with him. Whereas Pan's really about this natural, it's just the innocence in in creation, in reproduction and that sort of thing. Or at least that's the way that I am perceiving this. So all of this to say, I feel like this is about the perversion of our sexuality, of the way in which we are willing to give up something integral to us, or something that we is of wanting to take some sort of power, or really manipulating other people in order to receive some sort of power. So, okay, I feel like this can get confusing. So just to try and like bring some examples, because the most obvious examples are the things like, like sexual assault, or when we like, I feel like those are like we know these very like obvious like manipulations of power and use of sexuality in those ways. But I feel here we can also just talk about, again, like the not being authentic to ourselves, being authentic about the nourishment that we're taking in, and about what it is that it is fueling us to do, or what it is that it is fueling within us. So I feel here there is this recognition of outside sources that we're like taking in, and it's not actually getting us anywhere. Like, I mean, the obvious things would be like drugs and alcohol that we often use to make life feel more lively, make life feel more free and energetic. I feel like those are like obviously your easy common things to talk about, and those are ways in which like our energies, I don't even want to say leached, because for me, I'm just really trying to come into this understanding and dynamic of like it being a two-way street of like, especially when I've been talking about like psychic attack and stuff, and like the ways I've been trying to, not even trying, but the ways I've been seeing it differently, as far as like recognizing that like something has to find an end. It has to find a way in for it to even be of consequence. So when we can recognize our ends, we can recognize our leaks, our blocks, that's when we can really start to build ourselves stronger. And that's where my focus is mostly on, empowerment of ourselves, to where we're not needing to focus on protection. We're able to focus more on just the best defense is offense, is kind of the whole rhetoric here, is the idea of really just making yourself stronger, more resilient, more in your own willpower, so that, when things do come or try to attack or whatever, we have that ability to respond in a way that's more serving for us and more healthful and in alignment with who we are. So, I mean, I feel that even along these lines when it comes to the manipulation of energy and whatnot, because as I've been talking about this idea of like feeling like we don't have choice, feeling as if like we have to do things that we don't want to do. And this isn't even just in like the very general terms of like I'm working and I don't want to work, but like in thinking in our own personal life of the things that we want to do, or the feelings that we want to engage in and express about ourselves that we feel like we can't do because of A, B, or C. And so I feel like, again, we're here to able to, underneath all of that, be able to recognize what is it that's like what is it, that power source that I'm holding on to from that, because it's that whole sort of like dynamic, like just like if you're just in a relationship that's no longer working, or an abusive relationship, or what have you, like in any sort of space, even in a job, we've been there for so long. It's all about this habitual uh activity, and about this resistance to change, because it's been so hardwired, it's been just so ground in. So I'm thinking here of this whole idea of really having to acknowledge the ways in which we um, try and fuel ourselves by taking from other people, as far as, sexuality, but not even just that. It could be, so much as, putting on a particular face or particular mask, and all of that, derails and deters from natural intimacy, because we're not having an honest vulnerability here. We're not having like just a true genuine connection that's taking place with the very bareness of ourselves. Even I keep showing these cards because I feel like the picture is very much resonant and very beautiful with telling the story, especially like I think I talked about this a little bit ago too, about the whole Adam and Eve thing. And so I feel like even here, like that's where we can kind of pick up on that too, of this whole understanding of like seeing right from wrong, and there having to be like a discernment, like a discernment that we're building for ourselves, as far as what is actually nurturing for us and what is actually in alignment for ourselves. Really bring ourselves back into balance, as opposed to like us being out here and just enjoying ourselves without little thought or concern about, is that actually nourishing my true authentic self, or am I just kind of piling stuff on, and it's just kind of creating more masks for me to dig out of? So yeah, I think that's really it that I want to talk about mostly. Even on the flip side of this could be about us not wanting to engage with our sexuality, of feeling we've got to cover up, due to, harassment, or feelings of some sort of violation of our energy and of ourselves. So there's like, there's different, ways in which we can be perceiving this or experiencing this in our life. I know for myself, I definitely pick up on, both. I recognize both of these lessons that I'm learning right now, as far as, the ways in which I give my power away, and also the ways in which I, wish to, and maybe not in a very conscious way, but, wish to take power, because I want control. I want some sense of control, some sense of like validation for my power. And this is just being very transparent, because this is something I feel like we're all going through, in our relationship dynamics, with our jobs. Like, we're just having to really work through these different layers of recognizing, again, the use and abuse of our power, other people's power, the whole enchilada. So I think that's really it that I wanted to talk about today. I'm definitely going to actually do a live for this full moon, because I really do want to do cards more in alliance with people personally. So if you do want to show up for the live that day and pop in, and I'm likely to pull some cards for people in the chat, because it usually is very small. So I would love to do that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I will be making a post on Instagram just to kind of summarize this and really just boil down what I've been feeling about these cards, and about not just these cards, but of the energies of us really being honest, again, as I've been talking about, being honest with ourselves, reconnecting with ourselves with a nakedness, with a vulnerability that hasn't been, I don't want to say hasn't been done, but like, again, that we are often not comfortable with. So, and again, all of that is so that we're able to take in that. And this actually reminds me of a few, can't remember the exact names of the legs of yoga. I know it's Pratyahara and Pranayama, maybe. I'd have to look those up and make sure I could put those on the screen or in the description box. But it's all about the whole practice of coming back to self, or separating, not necessarily just separating, but like a creating a distinguishment, just a separation. I think very much of the Hermit card energy when I think of Pratyahara, the concept of like withdrawing. That's really, it's not even necessarily about a separation, but it's really just a withdrawing within to ourself, so that we're able to, pull in fuel or power if we need to, but also so that we're able to, create boundaries if we need to. And just not just that, but able to come back into self, so that we're able to really recognize what's integral to ourself, finding ourself in our own space. Then when we're able to go back out again, it's like a building of the strength of ourself, so that when we are out here in the world, we're not just like crumbling and disintegrating under someone else's power, underneath someone else's light, which is really just someone else's awareness or perspective of life, so that you're able to still be in not just control of your perspective, but you're able to really be grounded in your consciousness, as opposed to the goings-ons and the words and the actions and everything that's going on all around us all the time. So yeah, like I said, I really hope that clarified anything that's been taking place. I'm really feeling this, especially like I said, the cards definitely talking about the solar plexus energy that's been taking place, the clearing out of it and withdrawing for a lot of us. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and I would love to see you guys there at the live stream on Monday. And otherwise, do follow me on Instagram if you like to follow some more daily content, or if you like to just find ways to connect with me more personally. And you can book consultations and just personal sessions with me through my website at gladiatorinsweats.com. All links to all of this are in the description box, but otherwise, that's pretty much it. And I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. It's Thursday. It's been raining all week where I'm at, so for me, I've been taking the note and the hint that it's just, like I said, it's rest time and conservation time of really coming into ourselves and really nourishing ourselves and being more intimate with ourselves at this time. So yeah, until the next video, guys, much love and many blessings. Bye.